Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome if you are new here. Hi, my name is Kate. I'm a part-time online clothing reseller. My voice is kind of hushed right now because my baby girl is taking a nap upstairs. But in today's video, we are going to be going through my end of April sales leading into May. Between the dates of April 20th through May 3rd, I have another vintage sale, which I think I made 2 days ago, and I got a $19.20 offer, and it was a really good offer, and I just accepted that. And so now we can say I've made 3 sales on Vinted, but I do also have some sales to go through on Mercari, Depop, and then of course eBay and Poshmark. So stay tuned and we'll go through my sales together.
Okay, guys, first off, Mercari, we have this new Figs Purple Technical Collection Medical Casma 3-pocket top size extra small. In my description of this shirt, I just put two key tags or keywords to help the search algorithm, which were doctor and nurse. I actually bought this shirt in Hawaii for $7.99 at a Goodwill. I very recently thrifted this because I very recently went to Hawaii. $7.99 was kind of a lot, but the sell-through rate on eBay for new with tags Figs women's scrub tops was actually pretty good. And so this sold for $27. I had it listed at 30. I dropped the price to 27 and then someone just bought it outright. Not sure on my exact profit, but it's pretty good. And this only took 3 days to sell. So really, really incredible. It was actually kind of sad because I was taking photos and I usually take like 10 to 15 photos in one period of time. And I always write measurements on a whiteboard, as you guys will see. I'll show you guys a picture. So right here, I write all my measurements out on a whiteboard and then just to take a picture of the whiteboard. Well, I dropped the dry erase marker and it marked this shirt. And I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no, right? This was new with tags. And so I quickly just like dabbed some water on it and it came right out. And this top still looked brand new. So I'm super glad that I was able to get that out. I also got the dry erase marker though on this white eyelet gap dress that I thrifted in Hawaii, and that dress was not so lucky. I could not get that stain out, so there is still a little mark there, unfortunately, but glad I got the stain out of this shirt and glad that it sold within 3 days. And then last sale on Mercari is actually another bundle sale. This is my second bundle I've ever had on Mercari. The first bundle I had on Mercari was sometime last year, and I didn't even know that you could do bundles on Mercari. But apparently, Mercari, they pay for the difference in shipping, which is something I didn't know. But the person who bought my last bundle told me that it will cover the cost of the shipping. So it'll just take the shipping you had put in for one item and then it'll eat the cost of extra shipping. So in this bundle, the person put in three things. First thing in this bundle is this H&M dress. This is an H&M light orange baby doll puff sleeve summer lightweight v-neck mini dress size large. I got this stock photo as well as this paragraph directly from H&M's website, and then in my own personal key tags, I put tropical Hawaii, vacation, swimsuit cover up, bright pop of color, cutesy, sheer, and apricot. I wasn't sure how to spell cutesy. I think it's Cutesy, but it might be Qutsey. I'm not sure, but that's how I spelled it. And so the total cost, I believe, of everything was $50 for the three items. So divide by three, that's $16.67 profit for each thing. So I paid $2 for this H&M dress at the bins. And then technically the profit for it is $16.67. Not sure on my exact profit because I still have not fixed my Excel sheet. My husband just hasn't got around to it. And we actually are kind of like still struggling with how to figure out Mercari's fees because when they put the new fee structure in place in January, they made it so like older listings would still be zero fees, but anything listed after I think January 6th would have fees. So we're still kind of trying to figure that out, but this took 91 days to sell. And this was actually a dress I was going to bring to consignment, but the three consignment places that I brought it did not take it, which was actually kind of surprising to me because I thought it was really cute. It was a baby doll style, but ultimately it was a good thing because someone just like a week after I brought this dress to consignment added it to this bundle. Next thing in this bundle is this ASOS white floral embroidered button through coquette maxi tee dress size 10. In my description of this, I put feminine v-neck, cottagecore chiffon, elegant, and event. There was a very, very faint spot on the dress. I included a picture of it. It's very hard to see in the picture. I actually found this at the Goodwill outlet. It was technically new with tags. It still had this tag that said, leave this tag on if you want to return the dress. This sold for the $16.67, technically, like I said. And I put my cost of goods as $5, although I got this at the bins. It was a little bit of a heavier item because it was like a lined dress. And then I must have taken a loss that day. So I added to my cost of goods for this dress. So I'm not sure my exact profit, but not obviously the hugest because I paid $5 and it went into 67, but I'm okay with selling things for less if you go break it down individually if they're in a bundle, right? Because I'm getting rid of multiple items at once and I just am okay with making less money if I'm selling things in a bundle. And this dress took 155 days to sell. This had a lot of interest on eBay, lots of watchers, and then I know that when eBay did their switch over from not just having clothing marked as new with tags or new with defects or pre-owned, and then it broke into the pre-owned excellent, good, or fair, that automatically everything defaulted to good. And then I kind of went through and bulk edited and made everything back to excellent. But that also made some of my listings on eBay that were new with tags say that they were excellent and not new with tags, if that makes sense. So when I ended this listing on eBay and I went to click sell similar, I noticed that this had been listed for some time as excellent. And then I relisted it or clicked sell similar as new with tags. And then it started getting even more watchers, but this did eventually sell in the Mercari bundle. And then I finally sold this. This is the third thing in the bundle. This is a new women's low rise casual jeans stretch vault denim Emerson Edwards size 30. I actually ended up adding the keyword Y2K to, I believe, Poshmark and maybe Depop. I had three of these pairs of jeans and I got them at Goodwill. I think it was one of the first ever sourcing trips I ever did, and I bought these three pairs of Emerson Edwards jeans. I could not find this brand on Google, you guys, but these were new with tags. It was called like Vault Denim Low Rise Jeans. This is finally the third pair to sell. I think I paid $7.99 for them each, and I've only made like $10 of profit with all of these sales combined. So yeah, $7.99 into $16.67. Not sure on my exact profit. This did take 391 days to sell, so over a year, but the other two jeans did sell and within a year. And in my description of this, I put reminds me of a bootcut style, although now I'm looking at it and it reminds me of more of like a, I don't know, kind of like a straight leg. Although actually these two photos look different. This one and this one look like different pairs of jeans. So maybe they were like slightly different in color. But anyway, I put back to school, college, neutral, versatile, and cute. And then, like I said, I did add the keyword Y2K. It was a different platform. It must have been Poshmark. I'm thinking that that was the platform that I did add the keyword Y2K because low rise is a Y2K style. Moving on to Depop now. I recently got a new phone actually, and Depop wasn't working on my new phone for like a day. But before I got my new phone, before my old phone broke, I was doing a lot of relisting on Depop, and that was helping me get a ton of sales. I wasn't using Vendu to relist and delist. I was just using the feature on Depop. So if you don't know on Depop, you can click on a listing and then like click the dots. I think it's three dots or I don't know, but there's like dots you can click that have a bunch of options. And one of the options is save all, which means save all the images. And then you can have those images that are probably deleted off your phone by now re-downloaded onto your phone, saved from Depop, and then you can go back to the listing or stay on that listing actually, and then click copy to a new listing and add those photos that you just downloaded from Depop and essentially copy the new listing, make a new listing of that item, and then delete the old listing. So it's kind of a longer version of relisting and delisting on a cross-listing platform like Vendu. But I don't know. I've been liking doing it directly on Depop for some reason. I just feel like it gives me more of a visual look. And yeah, this is a vintage Cherokee blue denim button-up Western rodeo casual vest size large. In my description, I put the keywords layering, neutral, cowgirl, festival, 90s, and classic, as well as casual. Oh, I put that in my description. Never mind. I bought this at an estate sale along with a bunch of modern and vintage clothing. I recently had a video on my channel where I did an estate sale haul and a little bit of a kind of an introduction in the beginning of that video. And I paid 50 cents for this at the estate sale. And it sold for $18, which I believe was an offer that I sent out. So my profit is $16.46. And 46 cents. And this only took 2 days to sell, which is incredible, right? The fact that I only paid 50 cents and it only sold for $18, but because Depop's fees are so low and my cost of goods was so low at 50 cents, I made $16.46, which is on the higher end of what I usually make. So I'm really happy with that. And this is not the only thing from that estate sale to have sold within these couple of weeks. Here is another thing from that estate sale. I knew that this would sell. This is a vintage ivy brown belted tiered boho Western Cowgirl Festival maxi skirt size small. This was marked as a size large, but according to measurements, it was a size small, and I will do that. If a tag, especially if it's vintage, says one size but looks another size, I will put it as the size it looks rather than the size it says it is, because then it's going to take the item forever to sell because someone who is a size large but then looks at the measurements and they're small isn't going to buy the item, and then your item is never going to reach the correct buyer. So I will just say, hey, this skirt was actually a size large technically, but it is a size small. It fits like a size small. So I'm selling it as a size small, and then I always say, please refer to measurements. But in my style tags for this skirt, I put elastic waist, modest, spring, summer, fall, rodeo, bohemian, Coachella, 70s, and hippie, as well as neutral and cottage. I bought this skirt at the estate sale, like I said, 50 cents, which is awesome. This sold for $24, which I believe was an offer that I sent out, making my profit $22.26. And I very, very rarely make a profit of $20 or above. It's just, with my business model, I don't find a lot of high end things. And I'm trying to do more like consignment conversions stuff, but anything over $20, any profit over $20 is awesome. So $22.26 is an amazing profit. And this only took 2 days too. So that Cherokee vest took 2 days. This took 2 days. I actually think that they sold in the same day. This next sale is also from the estate sale. Paid 50 cents for this. This is a North Crest blue denim, black floral embroidered vintage button up vest, size 1X. I didn't buy everything vintage from this estate sale, but I bought what I thought was cute and could fit into the Western slash festival aesthetic. In my description of this, I put lightweight, casual, neutral, layering, earthy, granola girl, Western rodeo festival, cowgirl, and cottage. I bought this for 50 cents, like I said. It sold for $22, which I believe was my full asking price. Yeah, I think it was my full asking price, making my profit $20.32. And this only took 9 days to sell. So that's pretty good. Although I bought everything from this estate sale at the same time, I got them listed at different times. Here is another thing from that estate sale. Paid 50 cents for this as well. This is a Faded Glory white tiered elastic waist beachy boho angelic modest maxi skirt, size large, new with tags. Now, Faded Glory doesn't retail for that much brand new, but the style of this had literally every factor possible. It was a larger size, it was new with tags, it was white, it had an elastic waist, it was maxi length, and it was tiered. All of those factors combined make it a 100% awesome thing to resell. In my style tags of the skirt, I put ethereal, cottagecore maiden, prairie, milkmaid, peasant, flowy, summer, spring, and casual. And this sold for $17. I had it listed for 22. I did accept a $17 offer, making my profit $15.49. And this took 5 days, which is great. Here's another thing from the estate sale. And I did take, I think, 4 things that I bought from the estate sale ended up having a hole or a stain that I could not repair. And so I ended up throwing away. So even though I technically only paid $1 for both of these skirts at the estate sale, I put my cost of goods as $2 because there were 2 pairs of shirts or 2 pairs of clothing item or 2 things of clothing items that I had to throw away. So my cost of goods for these 2 skirts is $2. This is a white stag bundle of two, black blue tiered boho festival beachy midi skirt, size extra large. I said that there was an elastic waist in my description. I also put the keywords bohemian, vacation, modest, lightweight, closet staple, wardrobe basic, as well as lightweight. This sold for $19.30, which was an offer sent to me. I had it listed for 25. I did accept that offer, making my profit $16.21, and this took 6 days to sell. And I actually have a green skirt from the exact same brand, White Stag, but it was in a size, I believe, large, and so I couldn't bundle it with these other two skirts, and I actually sold that on eBay. All right, two more sales to go through with you guys here on Depop. These are not pickups from the estate sale, so we are moving on now. But this is a Lower East Side black Mary Jane preppy neutral girl academic flats size 9. In my description, I put the keywords old money, classic, feminine, business casual, as well as minimalist. And you guys, I'm so dumb because I bought this for $6 at a regular thrift store, but I listed this for 35 because I believed I could get 28 to $35. This was blowing up on Depop. I also had a few watchers on eBay. As you can see, there were 64 likes on Depop, and I was not going to accept any offer lower than $28. But I've done this twice now, you guys. Luckily, the first time the buyer never paid, but someone sent me an offer of $24, and I accidentally clicked accept because it is the biggest and the most noticeable button. The accept is in black and it's bigger than the other two, which says accept or decline encounter. And I clicked accept and I was like, no, I didn't want to sell it for $24, but I sold it for $24. So my profit is still $16.76, but my profit could have been around $20 had I, countered to 28 or rejected her offer and waited for another offer to come in. But these only took 24 days to sell. I knew that these would be a quick flip. Lower East Side in their Y2K or certain style shoes can do really well for me. I've sold a few pairs now. Last sale on Depop is actually something I have yet to ship out, but I wanted to share this with you guys because it's a non-clothing item and those fascinate me when I'm watching other what sold videos on other resellers' YouTube channels. This is a My Little Pony pink, purple, green mane G3 Coconut Grove Pegasus 2004 toy. I said there are many marks and the pony is faded throughout. All imperfections are pictured. And then in my style tags, I put Y2K, Kidcore, Childhood Collectible, 2000s Nostalgia, and Vintage. I actually got this at the Goodwill outlet. I just saw it chilling there in a bin, and then I looked at the bottom where you can usually find the information. So this said 2004 Hasbro. They do make fake my Little Ponies. So you have to make sure that it does say Hasbro or actually says My Little Pony on the foot to make sure it's authentic. But even in like bad condition, these vintage My Little Ponies can do well, especially ones from like the 80s can do really well. But this sold for $10, which my full ask, actually, I think I had it listed for 12 and I accepted a $10 offer, but I only had 50 cents into this, maybe even less because I got it from the bins. So it sold for $10. My profit is $8.72. So I'm happy about that because it was a super easy thing to list. And this took 51 days to sell. I actually have another My Little Pony listed everywhere, and that is a My Little Pony that is from the 80s that I got from my grandpa on my husband's side, and those are worth like $50 to $80. So definitely certain My Little Ponies that are vintage can sell. So keep an eye out for them. Even this one, I'm happy to have sold because it was super easy to store, and I honestly just love selling vintage toys. I definitely want to learn more about them. If you know of any toys or like vintage toys that sell well, please drop them in the comments. Let's share the wealth because I would love to know. Moving on now to eBay. On eBay, I actually recently just upgraded my subscription from I think it was the basic I had, and I upgraded it to the standard. I recently posted on my channel a I hate eBay video, and someone commented saying that they have I think, standard account. I could be totally wrong on the name of the subscription, but I think they have the standard and it allows for like 2,500 listings a month. And so I upgraded my account. It wasn't a ton more money. And if it's going to make me more money in the long run, sometimes you have to spend money to make money, which can be hard, especially if you have a frugal mindset. But as a reseller, as a business owner, the best advice I can give you is sometimes you have to spend money to make money, but you have to be smart with that as well. Anyway, this is a Keen blue black outdoor cinch sporty grippy Venice H2 sandals, size 9.5. This classic style from Keen, I think, is the one of the best styles to resell other than their boots. I think this is like the best sandal style to sell. I recently sold a pair of Keens on Poshmark. I accepted a $15 offer, and it's just like a Mary Jane style. But this is the style, I believe, from Keen that can sell. All obviously it only sold for $24, but still. In my description, I said that it was a little dirty. I also got all this information directly from Keen's website. And then in my own style keywords for the algorithm, I put hiking, camping, casual, and travel. I paid $4 for these at the Goodwill outlet. Man, I can't wait to go back to the Goodwill outlet. But I went thrifting yesterday, so I can't go to thrifting for a while. But I find so many good shoes at the Goodwill outlet, and I find a lot of pairs of Keen at the Goodwill outlet. These sold for $24. Like I said, my profit is $14.24, and this took 115 days to sell. This actually sold for my full asking price of $24. I believe that that was the price that I originally listed that at the very first time I ever listed these because of the amount of dirt and wear. The black part was like permanently lightened a little bit. But yeah, pretty good sale there. And I would pick those up again. Then I sold these. This is a pair of soft surroundings gray mauve 100% rayon wide leg palazzo casual pants size 1X. I feel like soft surroundings is having a moment. Okay. Like I will only buy it in specific styles and sizes, but it has been having a moment for me. And I've heard that soft surroundings doesn't do that well, but these sold, which is great. In my description, I put the keywords boho, wide leg, casual, cute, trendy, high waist, relaxation, beach, vacation, coastal, neutral, lightweight, and taupe. Sometimes I don't want to put in the word taupe because I don't know how many people actually search the word taupe when they're looking for a clothing item, so I'll put it in my description instead. Plus, I couldn't really like determine the color of these. So I put gray mauve, although mauve is like more of a purple color. There was like a slight purple color to these. I bought these at a thrift store in Idaho for $2, but I did put my cost of goods as $2.50. I think that was back when I thought that the thrift stores I went to took tax from me. So cost of goods $2.50. Sold for my full asking price of $25, and that makes my profit $16.50. But these did take 342 days to sell. So soft surroundings is definitely a slow mover. But if you have soft surrounding in your closet already, hang in there. If it's a good size and a good style, hold on. Hopefully it'll sell for you. This next sale is this Ming Wang blue black floral satin twill dressy button up jacket size 3X. What I put in my description. I put artsy wedding church lightweight mature and feminine. Also, whatever website was selling this had in their description of the listing this sentence, which I also included in my description. And that sentence is floral silhouettes blossom across reversed out color blocks on this satin twill jacket that melds aspects of Asian inspired fashion, classic and contemporary, which I feel like is a great little sentence to add into my description. I paid $8 for this at a thrift store. It sold for $38, which was an offer that I sent out. And so that makes my profit $20.88. And this only took 87 days to sell, which is awesome, right? Any sale that takes less than 90 days is amazing. And I'm happy with that. This next sale, whoops, I shouldn't have clicked on the photo. I should click directly on here. Is this torrid black floral Y2K punk gothic emo whimsy goth feminine tank top size 1X. In my description, I put the keywords lightweight, unique, and casual. So not a lot of keywords in my description. I put a lot of good keywords in my title, so I didn't feel like my description needed a ton more, and I also feel like the shirt spoke for itself. I paid $1 for this at the Goodwill outlet. Sold for $16, which was an offer that I sent out, making my profit $11.16. And this only took 36 days to sell. I knew that this would sell. Torrid tank tops are definitely, one of the smallest less substantial pieces that you can buy from Torrid, but this was an older label from Torrid. The black and pink label is more old, and I loved the pattern on this. Very punk, very Y2K, very like whimsy goth and gothic. So glad about that. Would pick that up again. Not from the regular thrift store unless I could get it for like less than $4. All right, we have this. This is an Aran Leather Goods dark brown Omaha toiletry shaving zip up travel bag. In my description, I put the keywords. Did I? I don't even think I put any keywords. I think I just said that there was some wear, and then I got all this description directly from the website, Aran Leather Goods. This retailed for like $240, which is just crazy for a bag. At the end here, you can see this picture, what they had on their website. And I think this one was a little different than that, but there was some like marks on the inside of this, but overall it was in pretty good condition. And this was like a $240 bag, like I said. And I had it listed for 35. I did accept a $20 offer because I have had this for a while. Paid $5 at a Savers thrift store, making my profit $10.20, and this did take 222 days to sell. So maybe I just had it listed too high. But I was like, this is a really nice expensive bag, but like I said, that doesn't always mean anything, unfortunately. Like I wish that if it retails for like 250, it should sell for like 50, right? But sometimes it only sells for $20. This is a new Sundance white boho beachy cottage courtier Selma eyelet dress size large. This also sold for a lot less than I thought it was going to sell for. In my description, I put lined v-neck prairie resort wear sundress, coastal bell sleeves, modest honeymoon, and cruise. I had this listed at $45, which was a dropped price that I had dropped a few times. Paid $9 for this at a regular thrift store. Only sold for 35. My profit $17.60, and this did take 272 days to sell. I did have this for a while, but I was like, this is an eyelet, midi, modest, boho dress in a size large, and it's new with tags. So I'm really surprised by how long it took to sell and for and the fact that it only sold for $25. This next sale was also another thing, not that I was going to bring to consignment, but I did try out like a little vintage booth and I did bring this jacket to the vintage booth and it did not sell, but then not long after it sold on eBay. So it's kind of funny how that happens. But this is a vintage gray corduroy suede elbow patches, slim fit blazer, suit jacket, size 36 to 38. In my description, I put the keywords handsome, the Beatles, dressy, business casual, college, and professor. I did put the Beatles because I felt like it was something that like the Beatles would wear. I don't know that much about the Beatles, but I don't know. This was giving like the Beatles vibes with my small wallet, with the small amount of knowledge that I have on the Beatles. I paid only $4.50 for this at a Savers. And because of that low price and because of the corduroy factor to this jacket, I did buy it and it sold for $25, which was, I believe, an offer that I got, making my profit $14.50. And this did take 241 days to sell. So a long sale. There is that green stag maxi skirt, or it was like, I think ended up changing this to midi, but it all honestly just depends on your height, right? On me, this skirt would be a midi, but on a woman who's 5'1" or 5'2" or 5 foot, it would be more like a maxi skirt. So I always like to include measurements. This next sale, so excited about this sale. This is an Old Navy red pink tiered two-tone all day midi summer swing dress size 2XL. You know a dress is going to resell well when you Google image that dress and find a bunch of women wearing that dress. So, not just a stock photo for it, but you find other photos of women who have posted themselves on Instagram in that piece of clothing because that's how you know it's a blogger favorite. Women are liking that item. So, I knew that this was going to sell well as soon as I looked up stock photos. In my description, I put the keywords puff sleeves, boho, bohemian, modest party, and vacation. Did I even say the title of this? Maybe I did, but I'll say it again. This is an Old Navy red, pink tiered two-tone all-day midi summer swing dress, size 2XL. The exact title, the exact title of this dress was that it was midi length, but As you can see, it looks a little longer on this woman than it does on this woman. So it really just depends on the height of the woman. And I bought this in Hawaii. I paid $6. It sold for my full asking price of $30, making my profit $16.80. And this only took 9 days to sell. So we have a few really long tail sales and then a few really quick sales in today's What Sold video. Then I have this pair of Allegria black patent leather playa hook and loop casual comfy sandals size 40 or size 9.5. I can't tell you guys how much I wish you could just put Velcro, right? Because hook and loop takes up way more characters in your title, but sometimes I feel like it's very important to include the closure of the shoe in your title because some people look for very specific closures in shoes because Velcro is a lot easier like Velcro shoes are easier to put on than buckle shoes or lace up shoes. In my description, I got all of this paragraph from a website that was selling these sandals. And in my description, in my keywords, I put everyday summer beach and classic. I bought these at the most recent estate sale that I went to. I don't think I did a haul. Oh no, I did include this in the haul, I believe. So you guys can tell that this sold very quickly. You paid $5 for these. They sold for my full asking price of $32, making my profit $19.32. And these only took 5 days. So yeah, I do really like the brand Allegria. I actually think that it's like a better brand than Dansko because I don't know. I feel like it's comparable to Dansko, and I've been selling Allegria better. So yeah. All right, two more sales to go through, which are actually shoe sales. These two last shoe sales I haven't shipped out yet because they sold yesterday on a Friday. Actually, these sold yesterday, and the next pair I'm going to talk about sold today. So these are going to get shipped out on Monday. This is a Brooks Black Glycerin GTS 21 cushioned athletic fitness running sneakers size 14. In my description, I put the keywords. Actually, guess I didn't include any because I had this big, long amount of information from someone else's website. So I just didn't feel like I needed to include anything. A lot of styles of Brooks that are newer styles have an over 100% sell through rate. So that is great. I paid $3 for these at the Goodwill outlet. They were actually pretty dusty. And so I just had them sitting in my to clean pile for a while. And I ended up putting them in the washing machine right before I went to Hawaii, and then I listed them right after I got back from Hawaii, and they basically looked brand new. So they sold for $50. They had a few watchers, which I offered them $60 to the few watchers. It was listed at 75, and then I got a message from someone saying, "We're asking if I'd sell them for 50." And so I did sell them for 50, making my profit $35, and these only took 15 days to sell. So really good. I could have held up for more money, but $35 in 15 days, we'll take it. And then this last sale, like I said, I haven't shipped these out yet. These sold extremely quickly, and I was not expecting that because we are not in boots season. But this is a Fry black leather lace up ruby classic going out chukka ankle boots, size 8 medium. In my description, I put the keywords preppy, neutral, business casual, office minimalist, and quality. I paid $9 for these at a thrift store, and they sold for my full asking price of $38, which makes me happy, makes me feel like I priced these correctly, making my profit $19.88. And these only took 6 days to sell. So happy about that. A lot of these things you're seeing in this What Sold video today, I featured in my most recent thrift haul, my huge longest video ever thrift haul. All right, we're going to take a quick break before we hit on to Poshmark because I have a third Vinted sale. So yes, I'm going to keep cross-listing to Vinted because I can. You can cross-list from Vendu onto Vinted, and it's free to list on Vinted, although they're very, very, very strict on stock photos. I have mentioned that before, but in case you have never heard me say that, do not put stock photos on Vinted. I've gotten away with it a few times, but most of the times they catch it and they will take down your listing. And if they take down enough of your listings, you will get, I believe, I haven't not had it happen to me, but I believe that they will suspend your account. So, the third sale on Vinted. This was blowing up on Vinted as well as Depop, and I thought it was going to sell on Depop, but it sold on Vinted, which I'm not mad about because Vinted gives you the full amount that you sell it for, kind of like how Mercari used to do it. This is a Richard Malcolm black faux suede gold embroidered sequin floral midi skirt size 12. In my description, I put the keywords boho bohemian, A-line sparkle, Indian dance, 90s whimsy goth, fairy grunge, feminine, and vintage. The top clasp part of the zipper I said was askew. So in this photo, right, it like I think that the hook and eye closure was still there, but like it was kind of broken, but the zipper still worked. And so you could probably easily fix that with like a safety pin, or I don't even think you had to do anything about it because it would still structurally work for you. But I got this at the bins for $3 and it sold for $19.20. I had it listed for 24 and then someone sent me a $19.20 offer which I accepted. So after cost of goods because there's no fees, my profit is $16.20 and this did take 220 days to sell. But this skirt is beautiful. It was like a faux suede, very artsy, fits into many aesthetics. I could have put witchy too. That would have been a really good one. But yeah, happy for that. All right, we're going to skip on to, or not skip, we're just going to go in the regular order and finish off with Poshmark, where I sold this Arc'teryx blue 1/3 zip mock neck base layer pullover athletic outdoor jacket size M, standing for medium. In my description, I put the keywords lightweight, casual, everyday, winter, hiking, and camping. There was a light spot on the back of discoloration, but it was like just a lighter blue part. So that might have just come from the washing machine or being folded a certain way. I actually sourced this on Mercari, and then after fees and shipping, my profit for my cost of goods, excuse me, was $27. So kind of high. I had this listed for 75. I got offered 50 and I was like, you know what the heck? I'll just take it. So my profit's only $13, but I still did make more than $10 and I sourced it while I was sitting on my booty on the couch on my phone. So not that bad of a deal. And this only took 67 days to sell. I believe that Arc'teryx, their sell through rate is 100% or more than 100% for some items. I think the brand as a whole is close to 100%. I don't know. I haven't checked it in a while, but people are always looking for Arc'teryx because it is a ton. Let's just look up here how much a Arc, comma, Teryx Clover men's jacket is. Shall we see how much that retails for? Okay, so looks like this one that I particularly had probably cost around 140 to 180 retail. So it's just pretty expensive, but it does also retain its resale value pretty well. All right. Next sale on Poshmark is actually a bundle. I sold two shirts, both a size extra small, so that's great, or size two. This is a Anthropologie a Chemi Plus Kin white Bisbee eyelet lace embroidered blouse size 2. In my description, I put the keywords multicolor, colorful, scalloped hem and sleeve opening, yellow, teal, blue, pink, button front, bronze buttons, 3/4 sleeves, summer girly dainty, bohemian, boho, lightweight, and floral. Wow, I put a lot. I found 3 stock photos for this shirt and it was a really cute shirt, but it was a smaller size at a size 2. Bought this at the bins for $1.50. And technically, I think the whole bundle sold for $42. It was priced at 50 and then I was offered 42. So this technically individually sold for $21, making my profit $15.30. And this took 305 days. So I was kind of surprised by that, but that's okay. And then I sold this in the bundle. This is a new Sundance purple floral boho button-up Dorothy Bloom peasant blouse, size extra small. That's a really cute name, Dorothy. And I like the EA spelling. In my description, I put the keywords festival, puff sleeve, lightweight, feminine, fairy, and whimsical. And this was new with tags, but it was a petite size. So I never categorize my items as a size petite because I don't know how many women are actually searching for a petite size. So you can specify that a clothing item is a petite size on both Poshmark and eBay, I believe. I know for sure Poshmark you can put like extra small petite, but I just put it as extra small and then I always put in the description the shirt is a petite size or the pants are a petite size, whatever the item is, and I say please refer to measurements, right? Because I don't want to get an unhappy customer. I paid $6 for this shirt at a normal thrift store, sold for 21. My profit is $9.80. And this took a 227 days to sell. But for my other sale of the Ekeme plus Kin shirt, so that's $15.30 plus $9.80. So that comes out to more than $25, or no, not more than $25, sorry, just under $25 of profit for this bundle sale. So not too bad. I sold another Sundance piece. These sold very quickly. This is a Sundance blush pink suede tie-up tassels, feminine going out heels, size 38 or size 7.5. In my description, I put girly event and spring. Sometimes I have a hard time coming up with keywords, especially if I feel like an item is pretty standard and might sell itself. I've been trying to put less keywords just so I can list stuff faster. I paid $6 for these at a thrift store. They sold for $25, which was an offer that I accepted. They were originally listed for $35, making my profit $14, and these only took 18 days to sell. I did not know that Sundance even made shoes, but I found them for my first time ever. There's the logo. Looks like they were made in Italy. Yeah, really cute. I got 3 of these sandals at the estate sale I went to recently. I haven't listed the third pair, but the 2 pairs that I have listed both have sold. So this is a Reef Cream Sling Back Outdoor Water Vista Slip-On Sandals, size 9. And it was actually really easy to list the black pair after I listed these because I could just copy the listing and just change a few things like the color. And I got all this information directly from, I think it was Reef's website. In my description, I put the keywords beach, travel, lightweight, waterproof, casual, and neutral. It is definitely the season to be selling these Reef sandals, and I think that they're a pretty hot ticket item right now. I listed them for 35, was offered $25 in less than an hour, paid $5 for them at that estate sale. So I took that, making my profit $15. And this took 0 days, like I said, because it was like 1 hour. I was still listing other stuff when the offer came through. And so I was like, okay, yeah, I'll take that. Thank you. And then I sold in between the first Reef sandals and then the last pair of Reef sandals. I sold this, and I wanted to talk about this because I feel like a lot of people don't like reselling Zara, but I like it because it's pretty bread and butter. You just have to get it for a cheap cost of goods, and sometimes it's going to take a while to sell. This is a Zara white poplin oversized classic lightweight button-up tunic size small medium. In my description, I put the keywords feminine, modern, contemporary, breathable, business casual, closet staple, and capsule wardrobe. Paid $3 for this shirt at the Goodwill outlet. I liked it because it was oversized and it was very clean for being a white shirt. And so, yeah, it sold for $22, making my profit $14.60. And this shirt took 98 days to sell. And then going back to that other pair of Reef sandals, I'm still kind of washing off the dust on the last pair of Reef sandals that I haven't listed yet. Those are a navy blue, but I bet that you're going to see in my next What Sold video that those Reef sandals sold too. And I'm not going to talk about the title because it's the same exact title and the same exact description and keywords I put as the other pair. But yeah, these sold for $30, which was an offer that I accepted. And it was actually only $1 off because I have Prime Lister, which is my Poshmark automation tool, send out a 10% off, or maybe it's 15%, but some amount off once a liker likes my item. And that made it $31 offer. And they counter offered at 30. And so that was great. I accepted that. And my profit's $19, and this only took 0 days to sell. So this sold in less than a day too. I woke up to this offer and I was like, what's going on with these Reef sandals? Because apparently they're super popular right now. Last couple of sales I want to go through with you guys. We have this Talbot's Kelly Green embellished sequin cuff business tweed blazer jacket size 8. Talbot's, their blazers are a category that do particularly well, especially in the larger sizes, but their newer styles do the best. And if you can't tell if it's a newer style, just look up to see if there's still stock photos around or if you can find it still listed on their website, even if it's sold out. But I do believe that this was still listed on their website, which is where I got the stock photos and this big long paragraph. In my own personal keywords, I put going out, feminine, tailored, business casual, office workwear, career, and pop of color. I paid $9 for this at a thrift store, so kind of high. But I was like, okay, it's a more substantial piece and it's Kelly green too. So a popular color and trendy color. Sold for $40, which I think was my full asking price after PrimeLister sent out its discount, making my profit $23. And this only took 5 days to sell. So that's really, really good. Like 5 days in my book. I want to sell all of my stuff in 5 days time. That would be the best. And then I sold this. This is a, let me see, let me go back up. This is a new Eliza J blue white floral high-low ruffle belted spring maxi dress, size 16W. This dress had so many photos on the internet. There was this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one. And I think that there were even more. So definitely a dress that was a blogger favorite, which is probably why I got my full asking price. I listed for 75 and then after the discount, sold for my full asking price of $67. In my description, I put the keywords church, romantic, girly, modest, and chiffon. I probably would have put Easter, but I think that I either listed it right after Easter or it was really close to Easter, and so I feel like it wouldn't sell before Easter happened. And I paid $10 for this, but it was new with tags. And I sold it for 67, like I said, making my profit $43.60. And this only took 30 days to sell. I love, love, love when I make $40 plus for in profit for one listing. I mean, that is just the goal, right? And then last sale I wanted to talk about is this pair of Fair Harbor blue white floral swim sporty coreless shorts with undershorts size medium. And then I got a bunch of information from a website that was selling these shorts. And then in my own keywords, I put beach, nautical, sporty, vacation, travel, resort wear, and coastal. I actually had this listed at 25 and I recently lowered the price to 22 and then someone bought them outright for $22. So I'm not complaining. Paid $2 for these at the Goodwill outlet. They sold for $22, like I said, making my profit $15.60. And these did take 228 days to sell, but I listed these I think like right before the winter season, so they weren't going to probably sell anyway, but I list everything all year round. I don't wait to list swim in the summer and I don't wait to list coats right before winter. So glad they sold now. But yeah, those are all the sales I want to go through with you guys. I don't go through every single sale in these what sold videos because I usually include like a big period of time and I don't want to be making this video hours and hours long. But these are the sales I wanted to go through with you guys because I wanted to mention them for one reason or another.
That's it for this what sold video, and good too because my baby girl just woke up. So quickly ending this what sold video, but let me know down below if you resell on Vinted and if you have any tips and tricks to making sales over there. I've mentioned this before, but the shipping prices on Vinted are really weird and pretty expensive, so I don't necessarily like Vinted that much, but I've made a few sales over there and it's super easy to cross list, so I'm gonna keep doing it. But yeah, let me know if you sell on Vinted, and I'll see you guys in the next video, hopefully. Bye.